Hey guys, in this video we're gonna talk about how to establish yourself a really good and high-end save data. During the last update there were some changes made and there's a whole bunch to break down here. So before we're gonna start off though, I wanna make you aware that you wanna empty out this shop here, Blackhorn Trade, pretty fast. As fast as possible, and in order for you to accomplish that you have to grind and farm for something called Crystal of Discord. The way you're gonna do this is you will go to the seasonal planet and you will play this on the very lowest difficulty possible, because the amount of Crystal of Discords will always be 300. It is not bound to the difficulty at all. So you're gonna go in here and you're always gonna choose the very left hand side perk or buff, however you wanna call it, because this one sets the HP for 3 normal battles to 1 for the enemy monsters, and that leads to you being able to speed farm this event here, this planet, even faster. After every battle pretty much you will be hit with some rewards, and you just always gonna skip every single reward, no matter what it could possibly be here. And for the map you will always choose the path where you face the least amount of battles possible. So you're gonna take a quick look, and in my case here we're gonna go top lane because there are the least amount of battles, and here as well, like, you don't worry about anything, you just rapid fire down these enemies as fast as possible. Then I clicked obtain by accident. You always want to skip everything and you want to just keep moving and moving and moving and moving. Here, right, we get rewards. You're gonna go and you're gonna pick up the credits. You go for whatever leads you to the fastest way out of this so you can continue your run. This is here, right? You equip this to anyone, you don't care. All you care about is you wanna keep moving. So here we go, right? One battle. We just gonna deal damage real quick to both enemies. Their HP will be 1 and we're gonna keep moving. And this is gonna be the fastest way to obtain yourself the Crystal of Discords. Here, skip everything. Always skip, always move. And here, sometimes you are forced, right? Just take anything. It doesn't matter if you obtain like credits or epiphanies. You don't care about any of this shit. You just want to move as fast as possible. So every time, like, the option is here presented to you, take the credits, you take the credits, right? You do not go for anything else. You don't go for epiphanies, you don't want to roll dice or anything like that. Here in these areas you don't go shopping, you don't go heal, you just skip, you keep moving and you dodge every single battle that is presented to you. Here, just select a card, remove a card, something that doesn't deal damage and that you can hit on very, very fast to remove it. You don't want to like search a card to remove or anything like that, right? Again, just move as fast as possible. You don't care about anything. The difficulty here is super low anyways, and that's all about how you farm the Crystal of Discords as fast as possible. Now let's actually take a look and break down step by step how to accomplish a pretty good save data in the most convenient and most consistent and best way possible. Since the very last update, the question arises, where do I actually go? Do I go and grind the seasonal planet for a very good save data, or do I actually go to the zero system? And the answer is you will go to the zero system, and the answer as to why you go to the zero system over the seasonal planet is very, very simple, because you have a much higher probability, a much higher chance here to obtain yourself the option more and more to convert cards and to remove cards out of your save data. And that leads us to the very first point, and to what I would say is the most important part about grinding for a save data in the first place, because you need to be aware of your priority list as to what kind of buffs and nodes you want to go for. For example, you will be faced with a lot of different options, like you can convert a card, you can remove a card, you can pick an epiphany, you can copy a card, and so on and so forth, right? And the most important thing that you will always have to do is, number one, is convert a card, because you want to convert a card over just removing it flat out, because conversion is cheaper by 10 points compared to removal. That leaves you a higher amount of save data value left for other options like epiphanies, like copying, etc. Right? You get the point. So if you convert a card, that card, whatever card you converted, is 100% guaranteed to leave your save data at the end of the run, and as I said, it is 10 points cheaper than a flat out removal. That's why you would always aim for the option to convert a card. As you know, or as you should know by now, that at least one of your characters in your team needs or should have a super compressed save data. In case you don't know what a super compressed save data is, I have a dedicated video explaining everything about it on my channel, so go please and look that up first. Now, the next step that you have to be aware of is that what cards do you actually convert first and what cards do you remove first? This is very, very important knowledge, so please pay attention. Here, if you look at a deck, right, at a flat out kit that is not manipulated or not a save data yet, then you see 8 different cards. Not all of these 8 cards can be copied. So you want to remove and or convert the cards first that can be copied and or removed, because you increase the chance. Okay, let me walk you through this. You start a run, you convert and you remove as many cards as you possibly can before the first boss. After you have beaten the first boss, he will present you with a choice of 3 different cards, and you can choose 1 card out of those random 3 to copy. And you have the highest amount of chance that the card that you actually want to copy to appear if you remove as many other cards from the pool that can be chosen by RNG to then be presented to you at this boss. For example, a water barrier here can never be presented to me. It is not in the pool of possible cards to copy for me. Same for like the water arrow, or for my teammates, same scenario. This illusion of golden daffodils will never be presented to me after the boss to be an available card to copy. But the bombardment trap or Sokowolski or shadow reload, right? All of these cards, they can be presented to me after I've beaten the first boss. So if I go into my run and my copy target, the card that I want to copy, that my aim is Source of Water, right? That's a very common choice. Now, whatever character I play together with Mika, I want to remove all the cards from the pool of copy cards, right? Deluge, this can be presented to me, I want to get rid of it. Whirlpool can be presented to me, I want to get rid of it. Tactical analysis can be presented to me, I want to get rid of it. And the more cards, like this Pendant of Resolution, I want to get rid of it. So Kowalski, I want to get rid of it, right? The more cards that I get rid of, the higher and higher my chance is to the card that I actually want to copy to show up after I have beaten the first boss. So you go into a run and you choose, for example, the character Mika. You want to establish the perfect save data in this run right now for Mika. So you're gonna go ahead and you have to know in advance that what the actual perfect save data is, right? You want a super compressed save data in my example here with Mika. So I want to get rid of as many cards as possible that can be copied. Again, the basic cards like Water Arrow, Water Barrier, or Rapid Fire, or Disillusion, all of those can't be copied. So I want to get rid of everything else that is possible, as many cards, right? Conversion, removal, that kind of crap. To again increase the chance of Source of Water showing up after the first boss. Not only that, you want to get the correct Epiphany onto this card. In most cases, if you can face like a planet that has like tier 16 or higher. Otherwise, your save data will not be big enough to accomplish that. But let's go for the perfect save data. In that case, you want to choose an Epiphany that you want to have on this card. And during your run, not only do you want to remove as many cards out of your deck as possible, but you also want to find the Epiphany for the specific card that you want to copy. And if you can accomplish that, to remove as many cards as possible and get the Epiphany for the Source of Water card. Now it depends, right? Will the first boss give you this card to copy with the Epiphany? Then you're of course gonna go ahead and copy it. If that is not the case though, if the card to copy doesn't show up after the first boss, you reset the run and you're gonna try again. And I talk so much about it and put so much emphasis, and I'm repeating myself, because most players, they do the mistake. They start a run, and whenever they get now a chance to remove a card, they remove stuff like Water Arrow or maybe a Water Barrier, right? Or they choose this illusion to get rid of, and that is a mistake, because you do not increase the chance of the card showing up after the first boss, right? I think you get the point right now, and you should keep this quote-unquote trick or this advice in mind to make your runs more consistent. Then if you get the chance on the second map, in the interior map of course, to remove even more cards, yeah, then you can start removing the Water Arrows, the illusions and the Water Barriers. Of course, right? Explains itself. The planet, by the way, that you're gonna go for is a planet in the zero system, because again, here the chances are way higher. The options of you removing cards are way higher. In the zero system, of course, it depends a little bit on what planet the zero system presents to you. But here you have the option to remove up to 7 cards before the first boss from your deck, if you get a little bit lucky. While the seasonal planet only lets you like remove up to 3 cards, you know? Results depend a little bit on RNG, of course, but you have a much higher consistency approaching the zero system, because as I said, up to 7 cards can be removed from your deck before you face the first boss. In the seasonal planet, that is only 3 cards. So there you go. That requires, of course, a little bit of a steep grind, because you will have to reach your difficulty level has to go up here, and you will need to find planets on at least tier 14, preferably tier 15, tier 16. If your zero system is not maxed out enough, then of course you would much rather go to the seasonal planet, which will be maxed out. And here you go to the difficulty 7. You use your white fragments to reset this over and over and over and over and over again until you get a planet with at least tier 14. Then you enter it and you're gonna activate the nightmare mode to increase this tier to 15 or even better 16. That will net you a very, very high amount of safe data value that you can use, so you can establish that epiphany and remove enough cards from your deck for an absolute perfect super compressed safe data. There is another very cool thing, because now after the update in the Zero system, if you hit the right planet, you will be faced with some new events here and there. This screen right here gives you a new option to convert one of your cards into a garbage bag, so to speak, right? It's not really a garbage bag, you get it. It doesn't matter. This card right here. And this is special because if you do this, you will realize, you will see that this is a conversion of a card that is 100% free. It doesn't cost you the necessary 10 safe data value. So if you come across this, always convert one of your cards into this quote-unquote garbage bag. Keep that in mind. This is a completely free removal, doesn't even cost you 10 safe data. Alright, now if you start a run, then the very first fate that you're gonna get access to, you have to reset your run time and time again until you have an option that lets you remove, or even better, convert a card right out of the gate. That is the most important part, very, very crucial. Then you have to know something else. Most players are not aware of this either. You have an invisible meter right here. A meter that fills, but that you can't see though. This meter fills every single time you fight. So if you don't want to accomplish yourself a super compressed safe data, but a regular high-end, high-tier safe data for one of your main DPS characters, right? You want to avoid the safe zones, and you wanna fight as much as you possibly can. Even if you face events, right? Of course, you're always gonna go for conversion or for removal. If that is not an option though, you go for that lets you initiate a battle. Often you can roll a die, and if you would roll this die not on the intended number and it would be a failure, you would initiate a battle. You always want to go for these options, right? If there is not the option to convert or remove, because every single battle that you fight increases this invisible meter. Once this meter is completely filled up, you are 100% guaranteed to unlock an epiphany, right? You don't have to fill this meter to full to unlock an epiphany. The more you fill it, the higher and higher chance you have of unlocking yourself an epiphany upgrade. Cool. Once this meter is full, you are 100% guaranteed to have it. So you want to fight, and never go for the regular safe zones. For the long shop safe zones, of course, you have to aim for them, because this is always a guaranteed removal that you never want to miss ever, right? Know that these elite areas, the elite battle areas here, if you fight such a boss, then the meter increases more than, let's say, from a normal battle area, from a normal fight. Also something to keep in mind in case you want to establish yourself a safe data where you need quite a bunch of epiphanies on different cards. Another thing is that for the super compressed safe data, you of course gonna dodge the tunnels, right? The dimensional tunnels. For a quote-unquote normal safe data, for like, let's say, your main DPS one more time, then of course you're always gonna also aim for the dimensional tunnel, right? You would, for example, dodge this boss right here. You would aim for the tunnel and for the removal, right? Needless to explain, but I wanted to mention it one more time. And if you are on your run and let's say, hey, I got pretty lucky, everything went perfectly according to plan, and I'm happy with my save data after the first boss right now, then you don't have to clear the entire second map, you don't have to clear the entire interior, and you can just look for a waypoint and peace out right then and there. That will save you some time occasionally. Another thing I want to mention, that is a general thing. You don't have to really care about this too much, because there is pretty much nothing you can do about it anyways, as you will reset this planet here until you hit like tier 15, tier 14 at least anyways, and you're gonna have to deal with these debuffs here no matter what anyways. But it's a general good thing also to keep in mind for the zero system and stuff, is that you want to aim for these debuffs here that decrease your credits, or that like don't let you heal in safe zones, that kind of stuff, right? What you want to avoid is these here buffs for the enemies, like fortitude or fury or anything like that. This is usually debuffs, those are the debuffs that you want to usually avoid, right? Like get minus credits, get minus max health, that kind of stuff. There is also a debuff here where it tells you that they replace areas and they add elite battle areas instead onto your map. This is also something you want to avoid the most. This is the most crucial and the worst debuff you can possibly roll for yourself, because these elite battle areas, they can replace your Dilang shops, and therefore they can remove areas from you where you would have a guaranteed removal. That is something you want to avoid at all costs, you know. But yeah, I mean, for like super high-end content, as I mentioned, you will not be able to avoid anything. You cannot choose, but that is just a general rule for like the zero system and stuff. And that's about it, guys. That was how to establish yourself a save data and how to farm for it. Remember, go for conversion, go for removal. On the very first fade, you even have to reroll this one. If you do not get the option, once you start a run, to immediately convert or remove a card, you have to restart time and time and time again until you get the option. Then keep the invisible epiphany meter in mind and fight to make it so that you have the highest possible chance of getting the epiphany for the card that you want to copy after the first boss. Keep in mind what cards you have to remove. Don't remove the basic cards, remove the cards that are in the pool to copy. Then, if you did not get the epiphany onto your desired card, if the boss still doesn't allow you to copy your desired card, reset the run, try again. If you're happy with your save data after the first map, go for a waypoint and peace out. You know about the planet, about the difficulty, the white fragments reset and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's it for the video, guys. I hope this was fun and informative. If you like Chaos Zero Nightmare content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, don't forget to join the Discord server, link in the description down below. Take care of yourselves, have a great day, peace and love.